Welcome back, focused learners. Today, in this explainer, we're unpacking an absolutely phenomenal real-world blueprint. Honestly, have you ever felt completely trapped in a tech job that's just, well, an endless cycle of repetitive, unfulfilling manual work? You know the feeling. You're just maintaining systems, you're not actually building anything new, and your career feels like it is completely stuck in neutral. Well, today we're breaking down the exact journey of an engineer named Patrick who actually managed to escape that exact nightmare and transition into building cutting-edge production systems. Okay, let's dive right into this.
To really wrap your head around the urgency of Patrick's journey, you have to understand the sheer pain he was dealing with. He took a network engineering job and quickly slammed into the shocking reality. He recalled, and I quote, "I was surprised people still do this. A Word document 20, 30, 40 pages, and you had to go step by step. Just imagine that. He was dealing with a mind-numbing manual procedure just to add a single user across databases, and it took him 2 entire days to complete. And the kicker? When he suggested automating it, management literally just told him to spend the 3 days doing it manually instead. Unbelievable, right?
So this brings up a massive question, and it's probably one you might be asking yourself right now. How do you break out of repetitive manual work and actually build production systems? Like, how do you successfully transition from an environment that demands blind, robotic repetition into a career that actually demands creativity, automation, and real engineering?
That leads us right into Section 1, the career stagnation trap. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast in career trajectories. Look, every single month you spend doing manual work is a month you are not building valuable marketable skills. Custom 40-page user edition procedures? Yeah, those do not transfer to other companies. Patrick recognized the incredible danger of staying stagnant here, and bravely, he handed in his notice after just 1 month. Why? Notice the structural problem with legacy network engineering. It's built to last 15 to 20 years, so once it's designed, the job becomes pure maintenance. You're just replacing switches and resolving low-level issues. The career ceiling is incredibly low. But then look at DevOps engineering. It's the complete opposite. It is an environment of constant evolution. New tools are emerging all the time, which means even junior engineers get to build infrastructure, make major architectural decisions, and touch cutting-edge tools every single day.
Moving on to Section 2, the scattered learning illusion.
So after securing another job, COVID hit. Patrick found himself laid off and stuck in a New York apartment for 3 months. He decided to use this time to pivot to DevOps, but he fell right into a trap that is so incredibly familiar to a lot of us. You buy a Terraform course to learn infrastructure, then a Docker course to learn containerization, a CI/CD course for pipelines. You start collecting all these shiny certifications for isolated tools, and you really feel like you're making progress. But what happens when it's time to build a real-world, end-to-end DevOps process?
It completely falls apart. Because here is the painful truth. None of these isolated courses teach you how to actually connect the tools together. Patrick found that he'd set up some infrastructure in AWS, step away for 2 weeks, come back, and literally everything would be broken. Because he only learned bits and pieces without understanding the core integrations, he couldn't even troubleshoot it. He had absolutely zero confidence in how the pieces actually fit together to make a working system.
Which brings us to a major turning point in Section 3, Mastering Structured Deep Learning.
To escape the frustration of broken infrastructure and wasted time, Patrick completely abandoned those scattered YouTube tutorials. Instead, he adopted this exact, highly structured learning strategy while working a full-time job. He basically separated his effort into 2 distinct buckets. First, deep work. He rigorously blocked out 8 solid, uninterrupted hours on weekend days purely for building end-to-end projects and troubleshooting. You just cannot build a complex pipeline in 30-minute chunks. You lose all your context. Second, he had his shallow work. He spent 1 to 2 hours on weeknights doing lighter cognitive tasks, things like watching theory videos, reading documentation, and grasping concepts so he was fully primed and ready for those heavy weekend builds.
In total, he dedicated 20 hours a week to this structured learning. But here is his absolute secret weapon: patience. He didn't race to the finish line just to check a box or brag about a certificate. If he didn't fully 100% understand a concept, he just repeated the module. He did it as many times as it took until it finally clicked. Deep understanding was prioritized entirely over speed.
Let's look at Section 4, the internal transfer advantage.
Okay, so once Patrick started actually mastering these skills, he had to go out and get the job. But instead of fighting the brutal, highly competitive external job market, he realized applying internally is arguably the smartest move you can possibly make. Think about it. Step 1, you've already proven your work ethic. To them, you're a known entity, not some risky external hire. Step 2, you already have the business knowledge. You know the company's quirks, their systems, their priorities. That makes you instantly valuable. And Step 3, you can apply before you even feel 100% ready. Patrick actually applied for a cloud platform engineer role before he had even finished the Kubernetes module of his boot camp. But the company knew him, they saw his relentless drive, and they confidently took the bet.
Section 5. Real DevOps, Code versus Politics.
So he lands the job. Amazing. But what actually happens on day one? Our source material reveals a fascinating, honestly, kind of shocking reality about what it really means to be a DevOps engineer in production. For his first big win, Patrick noticed this highly inefficient, manual process for renewing cloud certificates. It involved multiple teams, huge delays, just a mess. So he wrote a Terraform module to completely automate it. Writing that code took him just 2 days. But getting the company to actually use it, that took 1 to 2 months. He had to write up migration plans, calm everyone's fears about breaking production, and coordinate with countless nervous stakeholders.
As Patrick so perfectly put it, it's all about the procedure and people. Writing code is the simplest part right now. His bootcamp absolutely gave him the technical chops to build the solution in 48 hours, but the real engineering work, that was navigating corporate anxiety. Ultimately, his automation saved every single customer $200 a year and eliminated an entire class of manual problems for the business. That right there is what makes a professional truly invaluable.
Finally, Section 6. Your DevOps Career Blueprint. Looking back on this massive journey from manual IT support to a high-impact platform engineer, what are the ultimate takeaways here? So, the crucial point is this. Having the skills is simply not enough. You absolutely must market yourself publicly from day one. Patrick said his biggest regret was not documenting his journey on GitHub and LinkedIn earlier on. Because companies aren't just looking for someone who memorized Python or AWS in a vacuum, they are desperate for dynamic problem solvers. You need to loudly and publicly demonstrate that you can take a complex problem from start to finish. Let's pull back and look at this entire journey visually. We've got 16 months of searching for growth across manual jobs, a 3-month lockdown layoff, a really frustrating year of scattered tutorials, and then the major pivot, 8 months of deep, structured learning. Boom, an immediate internal hire. And within 2 months, his first massive production win. This transition did not happen overnight. It took serious grit. But with a strategic, structured approach, it is an entirely repeatable timeline. Which leaves us with the ultimate takeaway for you. The question is no longer whether it's possible to escape manual IT work. Patrick's blueprint proves that it absolutely is. The real question is, are you ready to invest the structured time, abandon the scattered tutorials, and actually build your future today? Think about that as you sit down to plan your next learning session. Thanks so much for joining me in this explainer, and keep building.